Hi, fairy grasshoppers. It's Bridget. Nice to see you this morning. We're going to get started. I got a story time with this card reading. Now, this reading has taken a couple of days to be recorded and video documented for you because it's been tough. All right, it's been tough. 2 mornings ago, I got word that a beautiful, sweet spirit former client and just incredible person, friend, made her transition into the afterlife. And I was heartbroken. I cried. I sobbed. I is grieving, flood of grief, right? Well, it just so happens if you're watching this video in progression, if you've watched the 2 videos before it, you will see that information had been coming up in regards to the afterlife and to spirit communication and spirit connection. So in sharing some of the information in those videos, when I look back over it and look back in my journal, it is very clear that she was sending me some messages. And yet, in working with my own sort of bubble of grief, because my family is grieving, my family around me, my husband's mother is actually being memorialized this weekend, and so there's kind of this bubble of grief that, you know, those around me are experiencing, and yet I was sort of kind of cocooned, I think, and so there was this buffer. So I look back over these card readings and they really provide a full picture or a full view. And so I think it's really important for me to share this with you so you can see the unfolding and understand how when you start to use cards or other tools, how you can start to see patterns and get clearer on the messages you're receiving and on your own inner clarity from your spirit, your intuition, your soul's voice. So we're going to start here. So the first thing I do every morning is my OMs, which are these little staves. Well, I discovered when I was doing my OMs 2 mornings ago, my nice little pouch. These are my travel size ones. I just like these ones. They're easy to use. You just kind of hold them in your hands and then whatever one pops out, kind of a thing. And when I was working with these, I discovered that I had this kind of feeling or this sense that it didn't feel like all of them were there for some reason. I was like, what? So I opened up the pouch and I went through all of them. There's supposed to be 20. There's only 19. So there was one missing. So of course that bothered me. I needed to figure out which one it was. And so I did. That comes up later. Okay. As I was sitting down to do my morning reading, instead of grabbing my OMs first, I felt like I was really inspired. I'm really following my intuition. I would use the Celtic Shamans deck. I love the Celtic Shaman deck because it has a huge guidebook, lots of information, but it's very shaman connected, obviously. So it's not like for the general user, I would say. You'd have to be connected to animals or really like Celtic shamanism and maybe even druidism, that kind of a thing. So the card that I got right away, it was right here on my table, and so the deck kind of called to me, and I felt, okay, I'll do that. And I pulled the card right away, and it was the Hound, which you guys know I have dogs. We love dogs. I got 4 dogs. We've been going through it with some of our dogs lately. Oh my goodness, my poor Louie. If you watch on Instagram, you know, poor boy. He's been dealing with some stuff. He's an old man though, 13 and a half. That's kind of what happens sometimes. But he's okay today. He's doing okay today. So this Hound one, this tall, big white dog, I just thought, dogs, yes, of course. And so I did some journaling before I look at the guidebook, especially when I'm working with a newer deck to me. This one I've only had for about 6 months. And it's not like my home base energy. Shamanism is not my home base energy. So I'm definitely needing to kind of get some advisement. So I utilize the books, of course. And so before I went into the book, I took my journal out and wrote some things about the Hound. And some of the things I wrote, of course, were like loyal companion, trusted confidant on the path, sidekick, co-pilot, helps to navigate. And then I looked at the colors in here, and it really felt like a spirit guide or spirit animal embodiment. And with the blue, that feels like the ocean, the sea, and the green is the earth or the land. So the sea and the land, balancing energies, masculine, feminine energies. Third eye is blue, and also Archangel Michael, very loyal, trustworthy, protective, which the hound would definitely be. And then the green is the heart chakra, the heart space, also this loving, supportive energy that provides abundance, right? Really opportunities and options and that kind of a thing, choices, right? Health and healing and all that. So the hound. So I thought, oh, that, excuse me, just took my allergy pill. So, oh, that is so sweet. What a sweet, yeah, that's a sweet way to start the day. And then, of course, I did my OMs. I did my OMs here. And the first one I got, now this comes from the Celtic Tree Oracle. I have the cards because I like to match the staves. That's what this is called. It's the OM. And with the card, and I use this guidebook from this deck to work with my OMs. So I take the card out for the visual that I can just set on my altar if I want to do that. And this card, this is the first one I got. This is me. The Rowan is one of my trees that I'm aligned with, and it's like one of my birth trees. Now there's two, because there's an Celtic astrological tree, and there's also this from this Celtic Tree Wisdom guidebook. There is a tree that is aligned with a calendar as well. So not astrological, just based on the system of the month and the trees and such. And so the Rowan is one that is mine, and I love it. So I'm like, oh, me. Oh, so this is for me, a trusted companion for me. Oh, I'm protected. Oh, I have alliances and support and companionship along the journey. And I thought, oh, this is so sweet. What a great start, right? And then I realized, like I said, the OM was missing. We were missing one. We were missing one. I could just feel, it just felt like I had the sense, intuition, hello, feeling it. So I went through it, and the one that was missing, I thought, oh, this one has information. This one has intel for me. What is missing? This is showing me something's missing. I'm like, whoa, that's a powerful message in and of itself. So I went and I looked it up, and it was the hawthorn, which in retrospect, I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't heard from the hawthorn. I haven't seen that pop up for a while. I'm gonna just see if I can look at my notes so I can share with you what was coming through here. Let's see, did I put it on this one? I think I put it in this book. Just grab my other book here. Let's see. The hawthorn tree was missing. And so here's a couple of things first. So let me dial back and just share with you a few insights on the Rowan tree. All right. So if you are following this for a reading for yourself, you might be connecting to a spirit of your dog or an animal pet in the afterlife, or to your human pet that is here supporting you, loving you, helping you. The energy of the Rowan tree is the part of the messages here with the Rowan. So I look into the guidebook so I can see, instead of just assuming, oh, it just means me, always looking to deepen my learning and understanding and give spirit ample opportunity to give me the direct messaging. So I look in the guidebook, and whatever's standing out to me, really illuminated, could potentially be that message or that layering of the message for me. So it is, for me, it was the energy of the Great Mother, which is the earth, right? Or the divine feminine. So to me, the mother, if you've been watching recently for me, I've been working on my mother role and my relationships with my children and evolving my relationships in regards to that position for my life, and also working with the divine child. Now, the divine child has been coming up recently for me as well. So with the video that I did about the unresolved grief, and I shared some of that, that was one of the lenses that this was trying to show to me, the parent and the child, or the divine mother within myself, as I'm working on healing my divine mother part of me, shifting and evolving and empowering my relationships with my children, I am also a child of parents. And so exploring that mother role of how I received mothership, or also from my parent that is a father who had a lot of divine feminine energy, how that potentially is part of my healing process or healing journey as well. And the roan is also connected with the winter solstice energy, which is the darkest day of the year, which is shadow energy a bit, but it's shadow used for respite, to rest, to go within, which relates to the stillness and emptiness card reading that the video that I also shared recently. Do you see how these are all connected? These are all unfolding together. So lots of support here. And part of the reflection here was I am both the parent and the child, divinely created, divinely guided. I am both the reflection of the as above, so below energy that, you know, I'm not a big fan of the as above, so below wording. But it's true. It's true. It's true. So I looked into the hawthorn then. When I discovered the hawthorn was missing, what is the message that is missing? What am I missing here? Now remember, I did not know. I did not know about the passing of my dear friend and client. I did this, then I got interrupted, and I found out, then I got the information. Then I came back and I journaled about it, okay? I wrote about the hawthorn. The hawthorn means what's unseen or hidden, not present in my awareness. This is what I wrote first, and then I was interrupted. So it was something unseen. This was representing a message or something that is unseen, not known in my awareness. So then I looked up the meaning after I found out the message that this beautiful spirit made her transition. It also means new cycle of life. It relates to the springtime. It's a period of cleansing and purification. The hawthorn, she calls for the union of the masculine and feminine, the sacred union. And that is like the parental energies, the masculine, feminine, which I had a father who is a very feminine in energy, in his essence. And I thought, interesting. So the intellect and the mind of the sacred union with the feelings and intuition, this is the marriage of true power and wholeness. So I felt this. This is the fairy tree as well, which relates to fairy grasshopper channel. And so I started to dive into this. I'm like, okay, so the other day then, when I was working with the reading about the big reading I did, the huge reading unfolding with like the 3 divine feminine cards and a bunch of the soul coaching cards, just all the stuff, right? I had, I'm trying to find it where I put it in my book here, maybe this book. I read to you some of the information that was coming through about the grieving, the unresolved grief, and the child within me grieving, as well as the mother within me grieving. And that's very, very true. And then I was all these 3 stages of the child, the mother, and then the wise woman, having this reflective energy, being able to look back over or look up, look down from above. So 3 parts of ourselves, you know, the mother, maiden, matriarch, Father, Son, Holy Spirit energy, that is us in human form, us in the transcendent energy of our spirit, but also then a higher evolved version of ourselves that is godlike, that can see and share this unique perspective, oftentimes through spirit guides, angels, etc. So I wrote about this and I shared this with you all. I actually shared this from my sweet journal. Remember, I shared this from my sweet journal. And I go back and I realize, after connecting with this, I realize that the messages, some of the information, there's a very specific message about the unresolved grief. Unresolved grief came up. I just assumed it was related to my parent, my dad, right? No, not so much. There's other stuff going on here. Maybe that too, right? That, and after I wrote grief, unresolved grief, ancestral, past, and my future as the parent as well, in the divine feminine energies, and balancing the masculine with the feminine, moving ahead. Very specifically, I wrote, what are they holding for me? The ancestors, the lineage, the lines, the past, right? Be it grief of my grandfather, grief of my father, grief of loss of my first marriage, grief of loss of children moving out of the house, grief of loss of, by proxy, of my husband's mother, etc., right? What are they holding for me? And the response is a message from my friend. And it was this. Remember, I didn't know she had passed away. A beautiful, loving vision, a truer reflection of the purest meaning of living. And then I heard very specifically a quote given back to me from my YouTube channel. It's your life, so live it. Just live it. A beautiful, loving version, a truer reflection of the purest meaning of living. It's your life, so live it, just live it. This was her message to me the day before I found out that she transitioned. Then, of course, I asked, my dear sweet friend, why did you not come to me? Why did you not tell me? Why did you not tell me of your passing? Why? I'm a medium, for God's sakes. I can handle this stuff. And she said to me very specifically, Bridget, I was protecting you. Knowing full well that I was moving through my deep healing in self, my deep work with mourning, really, my role as a mother, as a parent, as my children are, growing up and moving out, but yet still connected to me as a parent, looking to me for guidance and leadership and advisement and all that, but yet they're not under my roof, so I can't just see them, see that they're okay. I have to just sense and trust the universe to take care of them, which we all know the universe is filled with crazy people and wonderful people, and it's a mother, you kind of get nervous, right? Anxiety. So she was like, I was protecting you, knowing that I had been going through this stuff with my husband's mother, and by proxy, because my husband's been dealing with it and I'm just here with him, right? Feeling through him, his feelings, right? And she was like, I was protecting you. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I look back on my timeline, friends. I look back on my timeline. Do you know, Above Life Channel, I stopped channeling. I stopped publicly channeling in the middle of July 2020. I took a break. July, August, September, and I started back in October. Took a 3-month break from channeling. I still did Sunday Morning Coffee, my podcast, which you can watch the playlist on Above Life Channel, YouTube. But that's actually when Sunday Morning Coffee started. But I didn't do channeling. And that is when I stopped doing public mediumship sessions. I stopped, not public, private. In private session, I stopped doing psychic mediumship, stopped. And it was because there was so much overwhelmment with the energy of so many people passing during the great pandemic and the energies of the mass exodus of the spirits, and it was just too much. And then a couple of weeks later, that was when my dear, dear friend made her transition into made her initial descent, let's say it that way. So in August, 2 weeks after, she entered into the hospital with an ailment that eventually took her life, complications and such, several months later, right? And so it's almost as if, I was protected. I was cocooned, held. Because when I do mediumship, as I mentioned in the last card reading, the really deep one where I talked about mediumship in the afterlife, I really talked about that because I was surprised by it. I'm like, why is this coming up? What the heck's going on? I was protected and cocooned so that I wouldn't feel my own pain or potentially feel this long goodbye from my friend. I mean, it's just so profound, and you kind of have to be me, I guess, to understand it. I don't even understand it. It's beautiful and sad and heartbreaking and inspiring all at the same time. It's the shadow and the light together dancing, working together to present a beautiful, abundant basket of choices for me. And I want you to feel that. I want you to feel this and understand this through this story today in this reading about what this could mean for you, for your life. It's your life, so live it. Just live it. When someone from the afterlife speaks those messages to me and then saying, I was protecting you, I am so incredibly sure that we are given the best, most opportune circumstances, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes, because we, sabotage ourselves a little bit, right? And hold ourselves back with the fears, which is natural, human, natural, not a dig, natural. But we really are set up for happiness and success and experiencing relationships, and success really just means having the experiences and being willing to show up and flow with what you have and what you're given, and work with things and learn about yourself and learn about others, and have experiences and beautiful people in your lives. And we need all of this, right? I also need to share that this beautiful friend of mine who made her transition had Great Danes. That's her dogs. This is a very tall dog. So it may just be my trusted companion, my loyal friend. And the energies here of the sacred union of the masculine, feminine, and just the supportive structure of things, as well as the energy of this hawthorn coming through, helping me to prepare me, to shore me up for this. So then I drew 2 more cards, which 2 days ago, I just left this here on my table. Yeah, it's fun to have dinner at the kitchen table at my house. Left this here. So there's 2 more cards. I'm going to flip these with you today. Okay. This is 2 days after I found out. Hydrating, drinking some water this morning. I already had my coffee, so let's see what we have here. Ooh, the sun, the divine child. Lots of imagery here. Lots of imagery. Evolution, the path. Other animals here showing up. This to me feels like the golden child, the divine child. It feels like the opportunity of the divine child to reunite with my divine child, to bring my divine child under the loving embrace of my divine feminine mother energy, for my mother and my child to unite again, to become one and to become whole. And this is funny because it's like she says, now I can hear it right now pretty clearly. That's good, because I could only hear glimpses of her the other day, and she sent me some messages then when I was out and about, because I have a busy life, right? It's like, so I was out and about running. I had to run to the store. I had to pick up a car because of car maintenance issues and all this stuff. So I'm running to the store to switch cars with one of my kids, to bring their car back, et cetera, et cetera. And I turn on the radio, and there's a Freddie Mercury song, and she just happened to be a huge mega fan, which was what brought her to me in the first place, was Freddie Mercury. Thanks, Fred. Love you. And so so this could be interpreted multiple ways. Like, it was my son that I was switching cars with. And when I turned on the radio, boom, Freddie Mercury song. It was just ending, actually. Totally from her. It's totally from her. I know it. So that was a sweet message as well. And she didn't have any children, and she's definitely a sage at a different stage of her life. Like, one of my older clients. And she just had such an amazing outlook on things and willing to do her work. And so she inspires me. She inspired me as a client, and she inspires me now. And this is like her reminding me, Bridget, you're so youthful. You got your whole life ahead of you. If you live as long as I did, it's gonna be at least 20 years, girl. What are you working on? Come on, what are you gonna do for people? You gotta keep doing this. You gotta keep doing this. Come on, help people. You can do this. I believe in you. I'm gonna help you. If you need help, just ask. I'll be there for you. So beautiful. So beautiful. Ooh, let me just breathe. Okay. All right. So sweet. Do you see? The walker between worlds. Oh my goodness. Hello, this is Mediumship Afterlife. Hello, the walker between worlds. This is the person that is not just the shaman, but the edge walker, the one who can see both sides, right? The shadow and the light. The one who is an advocate and a voice for the souls or the spirits, the one who can save us from ourselves, right? Which is an intuitive life coach, just like me. That's what you need. That's what you need. Oh, yes, you do, my friends. The fact that there's yellow here, don't let this a little bit, this is not an evil vibration. This is a very true life energy. This is the red is root chakra grounding, connecting us to the earth and to our blood, the blood that runs through our veins, connecting us to our ethereal bloodlines and our energies, our ancestors, our past in this lifetime, the people who have crossed over that we know that are supporting us, giving us that nurturing support as we remain here as human beings. The energy of 3 is the mother, maiden, matriarch again that I mentioned. It is also the energy of what is true for me. When I see 3, I think of truth. This is also an ascended mastery number. Now, if I look into the book, now remember what I said, even if you work with card decks a lot, every once in a while, sometimes you need to really check into the book. First, go with your intuition and your initial instincts and the imagery and the connections, what's coming through for you. But then move into the book and get additional information if you feel like you're not quite getting it or you're missing something in the walker between worlds. I'm going to read this for us, okay? So this is number 3. So this is earlier on in the book. I love this book. It's just so insightful, especially because this is not my normal playground here. Let's see, number 3. Love you, number 3. Lucky number 3. Let's see. It's the walker between the worlds, the vision seeker. A gateway of upright pillars frames a two-faced head, which looks outward to the manifest world and inward to the inner world. Above this rises the figure of a third aspect, which is the walker, who combines the vision of both these worlds. Skulls of the great dead deck the pillars, those who have left before us and traveled before on the path. The walker between worlds is an ancient and primal image of the shaman's ability to cross the space between the worlds and to return with knowledge gained. He or she is primarily a seeker after such wisdom, but also possesses the ability to relate to the vision received from the inner journeys to the ordinary reality. The image of the three-faced being, which appears again and again in the Celtic art, represents not only the ability to see within and without, but also symbolizes the two into a common visionary truth. Wow, you guys know, if you've been watching me too, I've been working on allowing my business to evolve and what's ahead, what's next. And I feel like this is the support of that from my sweet friend and former client. This is kind of profound for me. I want to journal about this. These two together have a lot of meaning to me. You're young in the business, you're young in your work. Imagine, pretend as though you're starting fresh from scratch. What would you do now? How would you do things differently now? I'm going to give this question to you for your journaling prompt today. If you were starting fresh, imagine if you were starting fresh, what would you choose now? How would you start? How would you begin new? Whether it be with your body and working with your body, starting to love your body. Whether it be with career, job, profession. Wow, how would you start now? What would you choose now, and why? Why is that such a piece of your passion and your desire? What is it about that is so inspiring to you and is calling to you? It might not actually evolve into that is what you do or this is what you do, but it might open up the flow to give you and bring you exactly what you need, exactly who you need to assist you on your journey, whether it be a metaphysical support by a spirit guide or an actual physical human person that comes into your life to help guide you in a way that was unexpected, but very supportive, very helpful, very helpful. What if you were starting from scratch right here, right now? What would you choose? How would you choose to proceed? Not continue, proceed. Let yourself dream. Get out your journals, my friends. Get out your journals. This one's my business one right now. Get out your journals and write. All right, this is a long video, but I'm so appreciative to be able to share this with you. I hope you've gained some insights yourself, and I hope that it has inspired you then to really use your tools. Use your tools. Use your tools to see the fuller, bigger picture. Use your tools to receive consistent support. Multiple times a week, do a card reading. It doesn't have to be this deep. You can just do 1 card or 2 cards. You can use crystals. You can use like staves, like I use. You can use a lot of different rune stones. There's so many different ways that you can gain access, a structured access practice to intuitive insight and information. Meditation, tapping, there's so many things you can do to promote your own connections, to set up a safe and sacred structure for your own connection. But you have to do it. Don't be waiting for other people to do it. Spirits don't just come and just pop in and go, oh, hey, how's it going? That only happens like in 5% of the cases. News flash. Spirit doesn't try that hard. You have to be willing, open to receive. And so many of us are not real good at that. So practice. And this is what I mean by that. This is Bridget, your friendly psychic medium and your favorite intuitive life coach. I love you guys. Thanks so much for being here. To my dear sweet friend, there is a video on Above Life channel coming this week. It will probably already be shown by the time I share this video because I have a progression of other card deck readings you have to see before you see this one. But she will be honored in the video channeling that I do on Above Life channel with Freddie Mercury because he was her favorite. So thanks for being here.